Welcome back to the FC Magdeburg Career Mode Rebuild. We're flying high in the Bundesliga this year, specifically with help from Samuel Illing Jr. and Davy Selke. FC Magdeburg currently sit in 6th place in the league table. So this is the team that has us sitting 6th position in the Bundesliga, tied on points with Union Berlin. So far, it's fair to say the star players of this season have been Illing Jr. on loan from Aston Villa, Davy Selke has found great form, and the midfield is being controlled very well by Daoud Kremeshi and Roll. Not to say the defense has been bad, because they haven't at all. I just think that's the real spot that we can upgrade, more specifically in the center of defense. And luckily, all the moves that we've made so far this season have either been free transfers or loans. We still have £19 million in the budget to work with. So I'm currently scouting a few center backs, and hopefully we can find a very solid player that will come right into the starting 11. Jumping over to the Youth Academy, I think 3 players have earned the right to be called up, and luckily that's the cap that we've set, and they're going to be Ari Sakamoto, starting with him. I don't even think is going to be looking for a loan move. I think that 70 overall is good enough to join the bench right away. We'll promote him. And then now on to Nicholas Fischer and Javier Galano. We've had these two since the very beginning of this career mode. They have finally turned 16, so we're going to go ahead and promote them both. I think they'll be most likely loaned out though. So I think it's pretty solid there. We're going to finish up the business with our Youth Academy. Those are our 3 promoted players for this calendar season. Now we're going to have to look to rebuild the Youth Academy with our Youth Scouts. Before we get to transfer deadline day, we have 5 games to get through first, and I'm hoping that this could be a really positive month for FC Magdeburg. Starting with a tricky game away at Wolfsburg, we then have 2 games against Bochum, who are teams we've played against really well so far in this career mode, and then there's home games against Cologne and Werder Bremen, which are very winnable games as well. I'm very much hoping for 12 points from these 5 fixtures. So without any further ado, let's jump into the first set of highlights. So off to match day 16, where we're away to Wolfsburg. This game would be about one man and one man only, and it'd be the man in form, Davy Selke. Before the 10th minute, he'd be played in by Illing Jr. He controlled the ball well and puts it by the keeper, making it 1-0 FC Magdeburg. Just before the break, it'd be a ball played over the top yet again. He's just too strong for both central defenders for Wolfsburg. It's 2-0 at halftime. And then quickly after the restart, it'd be Daoud this time playing a ball over the top. Selke heads it down and then controls it on the half volley, making it 3-0 Magdeburg. And Davy Selke would pick up the match ball, collecting his first hat-trick of the season. What a performance, what a win for FC Magdeburg. Next up would be welcoming Bochum. And again, it would be the constant high press, that tip for everybody playing EAFC 25. The high press works so far against the ultimate difficulty, as Illing Jr. is cool, calm, collected, and slots by the keeper, making it 1-0. And then before the half, this one will all be done, as Gazelle have the ball down out wide. He'd play the 1-2 with his right back. He crosses the ball in. Illing Jr. goes up, is stronger than his defender, is lucky the ball falls back to him. He slots it by the keeper, making it 2-0, and that is how that game would end. Another big win for FC Magdeburg. Switching over to the sim results, we had a disappointing 1-1 draw to Cologne at home, another draw at home where Daoud needed to rescue the point with his game-tying goal in the 68th minute with the 2-2 tie to Werder Bremen, but at least we were able to close it out with a 3-2 win on the road against Bochum. The first of our loan moves would be Nicholas Fischer being loaned out to Copenhagen for 6 months. Then it would be Javier Galano going out to Coventry City for 6 months as well. Unfortunately, the career mode rules strike, and they strike hard here, where we had to sell Merlin Roll because Tottenham Hotspur, the big 6 in England, came in for an offer for probably our most talented player, or at least our most hard-working player as well. We got a deal for £43 million, but we don't have much time to replace him. We had to act fast, and we did. We ended up turning to Juventus to grab one of their young midfielders to replace Merlin Roll. We acquired Fabio Moretti for £16 million with a 3% sell-on. The 23-year-old comes in at a B rating, apparently. I thought I did pretty well. I got him for £2 million less than what he was worth, but that's okay. Apparently the best possible deal was $14 million. I don't think so. But he comes in at 79 overall rated, and he'll hopefully fill that hole that was just created by Merlin Roll being bought by Tottenham. And we weren't done there, as we looked to Augsburg for a central defender that I think we desperately needed. Felix Udukai, hopefully I'm saying that properly, will be brought in for £10.7 million. He comes in at 78 overall rated, and more importantly, he's left-footed. Out of the 5 center backs that we have, only 1 was left-footed, so he'll probably slot right into the starting 11. So jumping back to the team sheet after the transfer deadline day, you can see that Moretti and Udokai have both gone into the starting 11. It might not always show in the highlights, but Merlin Roll is a very, very good player. His stamina was over 90, and this guy was just running all the way across the field, making plays everywhere. So Moretti has big shoes to fill, and hopefully he can do just that. So hopefully with this squad, we can aim for that top 6 finish, which I think is a very audacious goal, but hopefully we can get it done. Before getting back into the highlights, we'll take a quick look at what our next 7 games are. The first game being a home game against Dusseldorf. Then we got Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, and Frankfurt away. Then we got Mainz before 2 tough games in Bayern Munich and Stuttgart. We just gotta hope our form stays up and we can get as many points from these games as possible. Now let's jump back into the highlights. So first up would be Fortuna Düsseldorf at home. It would be the visitors that actually dominated the first half, and the best chance would come here, but like he has so many times this season, Ryman comes up big for FC Magdeburg. In the second half, it would be Magdeburg who take the lead in controversial style. As there's a ball played into the area, it's a 50-50 duel, but the Dusseldorf player stays down, which allows all 3 of these passes to be onside, and it's Illing Jr. who slots the ball past the keeper, making it 1-0, and that's how that one would end. Now on the road to Hoffenheim. The home side would have difficulty early on due to this ball that was played through to Selke, and Selke is taken out as the last man. The defender will see a straight red card, and it would basically be Magdeburg from there on out. Pretty easy game on. Illing Jr. will be slid in. He squares the ball to Selke, makes it 1-0 Magdeburg. Then into the second half, this is where we'd seal it. Obviously, the man advantage for almost the entire game helps out a lot. Selke plays in Kremeshi, makes it 2-0. And then to add the icing on the cake, it'd be Sakamoto who gets his first assist for Magdeburg by giving the ball to Moretti, who gets his first goal for the club. So nothing really in doubt there, 3-0 win. Jumping into the sim results, it was the Karl Hill show as Wolfsburg won 3-1 when they visited FC Magdeburg. Then it was a nice bounce back win 2-1 at Frankfurt with Udokai getting his first goal for FC Magdeburg. That was followed up with another 2-1 road win, this time Daoud and Kremeshi with the goals. Unfortunately, the mini 2-game winning streak would come to an end against Bayern Munich when Joshua Kimmich scored a late goal to give Bayern Munich the 2-1 win. And lastly, we'll close out these sim results with a huge 2-0 victory away to Stuttgart with Lopez picking up both goals. Taking a look at the league table, with just 7 games to go, FC Magdeburg are sitting in 5th place. We're only 4 points back of a Champions League spot, which would be a dream. And on the flip side of that, we're 6 points clear of Borussia Mönchengladbach to qualify for Europa League. This is a fantastic turnaround from last year's campaign. Here's some quick transfer business before we take a look at the calendar. Here's our one pre-contract signing for next season. We got Said Ben Rama, the tricky winger, just in case we can't get Illing Jr. to a permanent deal. The month of April will bring us some tough games. Schalke at home hopefully should lead to a win, but then Leipzig, Union, and Bayern Leverkusen will not be easy at all. And the last 3 games see us first against Freiburg, then away to Mönchengladbach, who are right behind us in the standings, and the final game of the season will be against the current leaders, Borussia Dortmund. So we're going to jump into the sim before we play the last 2 games of the season. So we'd get that first win, even though it took a late Kremeshi goal to give Magdeburg the 2-1 win at home to Schalke. Next would be a very tough loss to RB Leipzig, where Lopez had a penalty saved in the 76th minute that could have earned us a valuable point. And then yet another loss to Union Berlin. They absolutely owned us this season. We lost 2-1 on the road, Solanke with the late winner for them. Unfortunately, now we're into a little bit of a losing streak as we got absolutely destroyed by Bayern Leverkusen 3-1. And lastly, we were finally able to put an end to the 3-game losing streak with a 2-1 win on the road at Freiburg. Illing Jr. with the winning goal in the 70th minute. Now we'll jump into the highlights for the last 2 games of the season. Off to match day 33 for the biggest game of the season away at Borussia Mönchengladbach. It would not be the start that FC Magdeburg would want, as Kleindienst will be played in. He's kept on by the left back. He's in on Ryman, he chips the keeper, making it 1-0. It would then go from bad to worse for FC Magdeburg, as it's that man Kleindienst again, who just is turning in circles around the D, gets by, and makes it 2-0. A huge loss for FC Magdeburg. That means on the last day of the season, we would need a win here against the league leaders to have a chance at finishing for Europa League. And talk about bad starts, Julian Brandt would get the ball, he weaves away by Hugonet, and then just from about 100 yards out, smashes the ball into the top corner. What a start for Dortmund. And again, it would be the away side who double their lead, as Ryman makes a big save, but it's Golovin, who has destroyed us all season, climbs up to win that header, making it 2-0. Magdeburg would be given a lifeline though in the second half, as Emre Can goes in wildly here, already on a yellow. He receives a red card. And then 10 minutes later, it would be a counterattack from Magdeburg, but then again a reckless challenge from Borussia Dortmund and Özcan, and he sees straight red, so it's 11v9. And it would be Magdeburg who'd finally take advantage as Sakamoto dinks the ball up over for the man Selke, who scores, making it 2-1. Unfortunately, this wasn't an EA scripted game though, because then we just couldn't get the ball from Borussia Dortmund, and then Thuram's played in on goal and unimaginably scores to end Magdeburg's hopes of Europa League. So taking a look at the league table on what only could have been described as a very dramatic final day of the Bundesliga season, Borussia Dortmund's win had them finish, and they've won the league by 1 point. If we were able to come back and draw it, it wouldn't have made a big difference, as Gladbach would have still finished in that Europa League spot. I still believe we've qualified for the Conference League, so we will be getting European football next season. Taking a look at some of the stats for this season, it's Davy Selke who led the way with 13 goals. Inexplicably, he's going down in overall, but at least he had a great year this time around. Samuel Illing Jr. finished off another strong campaign with 11 goals and 8 assists, and Benjamin Kremeshi had 7 goals and 6 assists as well. Switching over to the Youth Academy, we have completely refilled our Youth Academy, and it looks like Stefan Kuhn right now, the German, has the highest potential, currently at 80 to 94. He's a bit small at 15 years old. He's only 5'3", but again, he is already 59 overall rated, which is good. We'll also be doing a quick test for EAFC 25. We finished the season with £26 million remaining in the budget, so we'll do a test here to see if this carries over for next season. So all in all, I think it was a great season in the second time around in the Bundesliga for FC Magdeburg. We'll have to see if we can afford Illing Jr. potentially on a permanent deal, or maybe another loan deal in from Aston Villa, because he's been great for us so far. Same thing with Oriana. The right back had a fantastic season and is a really good player in game. Where we'll look to improve next season, with Davy Selke having a great year overall, but his overall going down, and Sekou Mara going back to Strasbourg with his loan ending, I think we'll look to bring in a talented striker. Please drop some strikers in the comments below, and I'll make sure to check them all out. So that is where we're going to end it on this episode. If you haven't already, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps out so much. The next video in this series will be dropping Friday at 9 AM, and as always guys, thanks for watching.